Okay, this may have been covered in other videos that you had, but I decided I would show this for you here anyway. So I make a comment for some of you about general handling being better than local handling, but there's a case where you want local handling too, and I'll try to illustrate that here. So right now, if I say specific handling, it says usage SpecificHandling.py, because that's the error message that I put here if you didn't provide a file name. So now we'll try it with data.dat, and it says no such file or directory, which is my file not found error here. And actually I'm going to make this a little different. There. So these will be expected. This one's unexpected. Okay, so I still should get the same error there. Okay, data.dat. All right. So now I'm going to go to data.dat, and if I put that in there, it should give me the average of those if I've done everything right. Who knows if I have. The calculated average is 7.0. Okay, good. So everything worked fine, but here's an interesting case. What if I don't put any data in there? What's going to happen? Can you tell me from looking at this? Well, let's see. Unexpected condition, division by 0. Okay, so I know that something went wrong, but it doesn't really help me much. And when I get to this handler, all I know how to do is just exit. But what if I decided, because there's no data in the file, the average is undefined, because I'm trying to divide by count, which is 0 here. And we could see that if we stepped through it in the debugger. But what if I wanted to define the average as 0 if there were no data in the file? Well, I could do that with an exception handler here. So try except divide by 0 error, I think is what it's called. Print no data supplied, defining average as 0, return 0. Okay. It doesn't like divide by 0 error. Undefined name. Okay. Let's try that. Name error has no attribute name. Okay. Gee, I'm going to have to actually go read the directions. Python divide by 0. Exceptions in Python. 0 division error. It showed it there. I saw it just before I got rid of that. Okay. So we'll call this 0 division error. And my editor's a smart aleck. It knew that wasn't an error name. Okay, now if we run this, instead of getting an error, and I printed out this snarky message, but I really normally would not want to do that. I just want to quietly handle the condition so that the user never sees an error. The calculated average is 0 when there's no data. Now, mathematically, that may not be the best thing to do, but what I'm trying to show you is I could have a 0 division error up here, but that wouldn't be very useful. It doesn't tell me any more than this print statement does. But in this function, I know what division by 0 means. It's because count was equal to 0. And in fact, setting up the try except block is faster than checking to see if count is 0. Because I could just say if count equals 0, make count equal to 1, and then this would get this step would execute without causing an error. But this if count equals 0 takes longer than setting up the try except block. So this is actually faster than checking for 0 here, and it gives me a desired result, and I don't get an error out of the program. It runs, as far as the user can see, completely normally. And as long as we're talking about speed, by the way, raising and handling the exception takes a lot longer than the if statement. But most of the time you don't expect to trigger this exception. So setting it up is very brief. It's briefer than checking with an if statement. And the only time this takes a long time is when you have an exceptional condition, which you usually don't expect. So I hope that gives you a little more insight into how exception handling can be useful for you.